She was picked up by someone she trusted, and she never came home. In 1995 in Texas, 17-year-old Adrienne Jones was a high school senior with her whole life ahead of her. She was known as shy, kind-hearted, and deeply loyal to the people she cared about. Adrienne was involved in school activities, including track, where she spent hours training, running, and bonding with teammates. She wasn't someone who caused drama. She didn't seek attention. She trusted easily, especially those she considered friends. That trust would cost her everything. Among her circle was a fellow track athlete, David Graham. David Graham was also a high school senior. He was disciplined, focused, and obsessed with structure and control. Through track, David met Diane Zamora. Diane was intense, competitive, and fiercely possessive. She and David quickly became a couple, but their relationship was far from healthy. Diane was consumed by jealousy. She believed Adrienne was a threat. Not because Adrienne had done anything, not because Diane felt she might. Adrienne and David trained together. They talked, they were friendly, and in Diane's mind, that was enough. Over time, Diane's jealousy grew darker. She accused Adrienne of trying to steal David. She accused David of having feelings for Adrienne. The accusations didn't stop. They escalated. And eventually, Diane told David something chilling. She said that if Adrienne didn't exist, their relationship could finally be perfect. At first, David hesitated, but the conversations continued. They talked privately, they revisited the idea, they justified it. They convinced themselves that Adrienne was the problem and that removing her was the solution. By December of 1995, the plan was in motion. On December 16th, David contacted Adrienne. He offered to pick her up. She agreed without hesitation. She trusted him. Adrienne got into David's car, believing they were just going to talk. Instead, David drove her to a remote field in Cedar Hill, Texas. Diane Zamora was already there. What happened next was not quick, and it was not accidental. Adrienne was attacked. She was bludgeoned with a heavy object, a weight, struck again and again. And when that wasn't enough, she was shot. Her life ended there, alone, surrounded by someone she thought was her friend. David and Diane left her body behind. When Adrienne didn't return home, her family knew immediately something was wrong. As the search for Adrienne intensified, her family clung to hope. Police searched fields, volunteers combed nearby areas, flyers were posted with Adrienne's face and her name. But days passed, and while her loved ones searched, David Graham and Diane Zamora moved on with their lives. Both left Texas to attend separate colleges. To the outside world, it looked like nothing had happened, but the truth was already starting to crack. Just days after the murder, Adrienne's body was discovered in a remote field in Cedar Hill, Texas. She had been brutally beaten with a weight and then shot. The discovery devastated her family, but investigators still had no suspects. For weeks, the case went cold, until Diane Zamora started talking. While away at college, Diane confided in a classmate. She told them what she and David had done. The classmate was horrified and did the right thing. They contacted authorities. Police tracked Diane down and brought her in for questioning. At first, she denied everything, but the pressure mounted. Detectives confronted her with what they knew, with inconsistencies, and with her own words. Eventually, Diane broke. She confessed. She admitted that the murder was planned, that jealousy was the motive, and that David Graham was involved from the beginning. She told police where Adrienne's body had been left. Investigators then turned to David. When questioned, David initially tried to distance himself, but faced with Diane's confession, he also admitted his role. Both were arrested and charged with capital murder. At trial, the full picture emerged. This was not an accident. This was not self-defense. It was a deliberate act driven by obsession, control, and jealousy. Diane Zamora was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and David Graham received the same sentence. Both will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Adrienne Jones was 17 years old. She was a daughter, a friend, a teammate. She trusted people she knew, and that trust cost her her life.